Hello and welcome back to my Europa Universalis MEIOU and Taxes guide. So this episode is all about making money. And we interacted with some stuff, but now what we want to do, first of all, let's what a great guy. Whatever. So what you want to do at start, don't interact too much with anything. You maybe want to set up an advisor, for example. I'm just going to select someone here now because it's not that important currently for what I want to show you. Also, we maybe want to pick a rival here, like let's say Bohemia. Serbia is fine. Yeah, we don't care about England, so fine. And what first of all you want to do, you want to send out your merchants, because the merchants are deciding on where you can trade. So if, let's say, Julius Caesar in Naples wants to buy some coffee, then he needs to buy it from somewhere. He can buy in the trade region where he is here, where the capital is. So this is like the Tyrrhenian Sea. He can buy here if there's coffee and therefore exotic goods. But if there are none, he can't buy it. The only way how he can increase his market to buy from is via merchants. So depending on where we set up our merchants, people can buy stuff. So if we were to buy coffee from somewhere like south, which is coming from Yemen, we would need to trade here, because this trade node, it's very important to mention, is next to each other. Like you can send trade from here to Tyrrhenian Sea, so they can trade with each other. The next one we want to trade with, of course, is Venice, because part of our provinces are in there. So that we have covered the Italian area except for Milan over here, Po Valley. Of course, we still don't have enough merchants to trade with Tunisia or the Aegean here, but that's the start we can go for. That's something you always want to do at start. Set up your merchants, therefore set up your trade network. And think about what you maybe want to buy. If you don't know, just go for your neighboring large trade nodes to get a little bit more cash out of them. Because the burghers in your state are trading and therefore generating trade value, and which is going to give you more cash for the state. Now what we want to do, however, is to trigger the first large events. So this game has a massive event in the first month, in January. So all the calculations are done there. So yeah, Catholic faith, all fine. We got a lot of events for whatever. And now we just want to wait the first month of January because we are getting a lot of pop-ups here. Yes, we want to know about the Curia, which is basically the Catholic faith. Yes, validate. First event has happened here. Delegating the tax code, we just say delegate automatically in the background. It's all fine. And now we get a first major event, which we need to handle here. And there's the second leg, which we have, which is at February in this case. Yeah, okay, there we go. Now what we want to do, the investment manager is basically handling investments in your provinces in the background. Normally what you could do is you add all your own provinces to the investment pool. You increase your budget, for example, to like 30% of the treasury, and you do it for, let's say, every 4 years, for example, and you want to get a notification when it happens. Yes, so fine, stop. So in the background, the game is going to invest into your provinces from your cash, and then that's like your state influence a little bit. Like the population is going to do it on their own too, but you can increase, of course, investments when the state invests into provinces. For example, what we did here by opening up a salt industry. And now, all you want to do is make money, because everything you do is going to cost you money. Now, if we want to, for example, push that salt industry which we created in Bari through the roof, then we could invest into that province. So we would go into our production interface or into the quick menu, and then we would select buildings, which also covers all the taxes which you could influence by hand, but I don't recommend it. Just let the game do it for you. And then you can do investments, like in all the core industries, like farm industries, forestry industries, mine industries, fishery industries, then the residential ones, commercial, industrial, and academic ones. And in this case, we want to invest like 10 bucks into Bari. And this would push the salt industry further up, like opening up more jobs, therefore maybe causing migration into the province and stuff like that. Of course, if you don't have a lot of population in that province and you invest a lot of stuff into it, you're just producing jobs, but nobody can work them, but you still have to pay upkeep for the buildings you built there for the industry, and you're making a net loss. So be careful with your investments, because you don't want to overinvest. Therefore, just let it most of the time handle or be handled in the background. Some investments you should do from time to time, for example, is to invest into commercial industries. Like if you go into your trade menu, you can see that there's like a small minor centers of trade here, and it can be worthwhile, especially in the beginning, to invest into your trade network. Let's say like that, because the more trade you have, it's most of the time it's a positive investment. Trade investments, or most of the time, are decent. The more trade you have, the more merchants you are getting, and the more merchants you have, the more you can trade. So that's why you want to invest into it. And if you go over the industry tab here, you can see a throughput percentage, which is basically meaning how much of that industry is how well it fares, basically. If you have a percentage, for example, let's check it out here. We're still at the beginning of the game because not much investment has happened here. Commerce industry only has a throughput of 88%. Now we invested 50 bucks into it, so that's going to drop significantly because we are opening up a lot of jobs which are already yet not filled. So this is going to be one of that example which maybe 50 bucks was way too much here. So you always can check out, like, if the percentage is below 90% or below 80%, then don't invest into that industry. But normally just let the AI do it for you in the background, unless you want to push, for example, your capital in regards to your urban industries, because you want to build the super capital of the world, basically. Then you would invest a lot of cash into your capital, so that you create more jobs and therefore have more migration into the province and therefore grow faster and stuff like that. So, but how do you now make money? Like, we invested already money, and the answer to most of this, to basically everything, is autonomy. The less autonomous a province is, the more money is it going to make for you. Because if the autonomy is high, all the value that the province creates, let's take this one, which is 90%, so all the value is going into the hands of the local nobility or local burghers or local clergy, like the estates we just checked out here. Why is the music stopping again? Let it play. I don't know why it stopped sometimes. So everything you have to, everything the state, the province makes in its industries is going to convert it into cash, or like it's getting sold and stuff like that, or consumed. The people are going to buy it, the population is going to buy it, and in the end everybody is making a profit or a loss, and a certain amount of that is going to be taxed. But if your autonomy is at 100%, you are not getting any tax, because the nobility is going to keep it, because they say like, screw you, we don't care about you, we are far away from the capital and we are not interested in it. So autonomy is the most important feature to get more cash out of your provinces. The second one is to build up cities, because cities open up jobs like better urban jobs like producing ships and stuff like that, but also commerce industries and education industries are more or less locked to cities, which are easier to tax. So it's harder to walk to every peasant and collect their taxes. It's of course easier to ride into a city and then ask a local chief, governor, administrator, whatever, to collect taxes from every resident and therefore give it to you. So cities are easier to tax and cheaper to tax compared to provinces. So you want to build cities because they are most of the time profitable and therefore increase your income. The last, one of the other options here is trade, of course. So we are going to making a little bit of trade, 1.55 ducats right now. If you invest into commercial activities here, then this is going to increase. And yeah, you want to get more merchants because then you have more trade. The more trade you have, the more money you are making. And trade is handled by the burghers, therefore another faction. And you want to keep them loyal, of course, too. For example, we want to promote and support commerce industries, so to get them even more loyal, and the more loyal they are, the more they are going to pay your taxes and stuff like that. And of course, one other profitable way of getting cash is of course declaring war. If you go to war, you can well, earn a lot of money by looting provinces, burning down cities and stuff like that. Sometimes you're going to get events like that you can burn down a city when you loot it to get even more cash and stuff like that. So warfare is quite lucrative. However, of course, you are burning down an industry there. So for example, if you have a country which is not producing enough food on its own and it's relying on, for example, buying food in the Balkans, and you start declaring war in the Balkans and burn down everything, that might not be in your interest, because then your food supply runs short and your population declines. So be careful in how much you loot in the world. So that's basically, for example, I wouldn't recommend burning down the Nile Valley here, because that's the breadbasket of Europe. So a lot of wheat is getting produced, or food is getting produced here and sold to the neighboring states. If you burn that down, these states can't really feed themselves. Therefore, they are producing less, and it's going to have a chain reaction into all of Europe, because a lot of stuff is getting transported and produced like here or here, which is going to be needed here, like raw materials and textiles and stuff like that. So don't burn too much. However, for example, burning down Rome could be worthwhile if you do it once, or burning down Venice could be worthwhile just to reduce the the trade income, to move more trade into your ports and stuff like that. Certain decisions can be very lucrative. Especially burning down trade rivals can be quite useful. So if you want to push more trade into your state, burn down Venice here, or Genoa, or conquer them and get the trade for your own. So of course also possible. Yeah, so now how can you improve your income when you autonomy is a very slow process, by reforming your state and you're making your estates better. Trade can also be reformed by the rights of commerce here. You start as Naples with a very high rate of law of commerce, so you are in a really good position. That's why I recommend Naples as a start. You are not like a real backwater. And what else you can do is, of course, why is it not on autoplay here? I'm confused. I thought it is. Ah, shuffle was off. Okay. Okay. Apparently it deactivated at some point. Of course, one other way to increase your income is, of course, developing ideas. So, for example, if you go for the trade ideas here, you are going to push your trade income through the roof because you get more like production inefficiencies, which basically means you trade more efficiently. You get more trade power from merchant, you get more trade power from ships, you get more provincial trade power, which is basically your commerce industries. You get more range, so you can send your merchants further away and stuff like that. But of course, you can also go, for example, like for economic ideas, which is going to reduce cost of investments, production efficiencies. The values seem to be small, but they are quite massive, in fact, in the impact they have on a whole country. So that's another way how you can improve your income over time. And in general, you start pretty poor. You are not going to be rich in the early game. And money is the main income you want to go for. So like administrative power, diplo points, and military power are important, but not the most important thing in the world, because everything costs cash. And you can still buy your advisors and upgrade them for better income of administrative power and stuff like that. However, cash is buying everything. And also what you want to look out for is the institutions. One of the first institutions which just got unlocked with the start of the game is commercialization, which is increasing trade. So, and that's like something you really want to get early on. So you could hover over here, requirements, and it tells you like how to get commercialization faster. And one, of course, is the trade value here. Provincial intervention progress based trade value. So yeah, for example, Naples is getting it passively over time here. By increasing trade here, this is going to go up. And you want to get commercialization as fast as possible. So it might be worthwhile to pay someone when they offer it to you to increase the spread. Basically, also you want to go for the institutions and get prepared for them. So check out their requirements and think about what you can achieve and what not, because this is going to have quite a lot of impact on technology costs, because they are going to increase your costs here over time. The further you don't progress downwards, the higher the penalties are going to get when you don't have a certain institution. And all of that is going to increase massively your infrastructures, your incomes and stuff like that. And you want to invest into profitable provinces to push them further down. So for example, if let's have a look into the ledger here and let's get our provinces. Where are they? Here we go. So of course our capital is on the top. Don't wonder, there's no production income in this mod. It's all handled via taxes, so there's only one income here. Naples is of course your most profitable one and the one with the lowest autonomy, so the tax is higher. And the other provinces you might want to check out here, of course, is something like Calabria, which we checked already and stuff like that. Wait a second. And now it's sorted. Now, okay, so Calabria is here, Salieno's here, Cosenza's here. So you want to maybe check out these provinces here. Let's take Salieno. Where is Salieno? here, next to the capital. It says 13 rural development, and if we check it out in the property department, there's still a little bit of room for farmlands, there's a little bit for mining, and there's still a lot of forestry industry open. However, as you can see by the green values behind it, the mines and the forestries aren't that profitable compared to the farmland. So you might want to invest into the farmland until it's maxed out. And then you maybe just don't invest into it anymore. Like putting 10 ducats in here is probably a worthwhile investment, and afterwards you can probably ignore it for a while. Let's say the Calabria, however, which is also up there in the income department, it still has more than half of its farmland open. So you can invest a lot of cash in here over time. You maybe invest 10 ducats this year and then like another 10 ducats in 3 years, just to push it faster to the maximum and therefore increase your income, your population growth and stuff like that. Because if you invest into a province, the wages of the population is going to increase because there are more open jobs, therefore more competition, stuff like that. So you make them richer and therefore more people are migrating, and of course they can buy more stuff, and if they can buy more life goods like food and stuff, they also tend to have more children and therefore grow faster to a certain degree. And natural growth or natural population growth is in fact a big factor here, because migration most of the time only happens within a country. You can have migration from vessels, for example, so we have Provence and Corfu as our vessels, or personal unions in fact. They can migrate to your country. However, that's still very small. There's also migration within the HRE, so the Holy Roman Empire. So within the empire, migration can happen, except for Italy. I think that's excluded. So you shouldn't. Migration isn't something you get from other countries. You only have migration within a state. So if you make this one more attractive, of course another state has to suffer for it. However, the most important migration you want to get is, let's take Naples for that, is migration into your cities. So residents are growing mostly by immigration, because middle age, medieval age cities are not the best places to live in due to sanitation and other stuff like diseases and stuff. So you don't grow them quickly naturally, you just grow them by immigration. Therefore, this is going to be, you want to make the peasants happy so that they are growing fast, and then this population from the peasants can migrate to your cities. For example, here we have an immigration of the peasants of 0.1, and also the residents are migrating away, probably to our capital. So you want to either stop that or push it further, depending how you want to invest and what's going to happen. And that's how you make most of your money. So really check out your country, trade with the correct partners, and probably loot your neighbors. Warfare is one of the most lucrative starting options you can go for, because handling in an economy needs time and experience. Looting other countries and painting the map, that's easier to be done. Just keep your estates happy, keep your nobles happy at start, and you can go conquering a lot of stuff. For example, what I would recommend as Naples here, you can vassalize the Rasso here quite quickly, and then you can conquer the neighboring Albanian provinces here, getting a little bit of cash, and from there you can conquer into more of the Balkans before the Ottomans start. The Ottomans are really fast into the Byzantine Empire, then into Bulgaria, and then they're going to become a problem. So you really have to look out and decide on how much you want to conquer here, because later or sooner they're going to come for you. Yeah, also what you want to do, of course, is conquer Sicily, which is also quite lucrative. However, because you want to take the course, you don't want to burn it to the ground. You just want to take minimal profits from here. However, of course, if you, let's say, look here, and you want to maybe expand Provence or stuff like that into Genoa or something, you might want to consider burning it down. Also, war reparations, very attractive. So a lot of options, and Naples has a very, very good starting condition because you start with a positive budget. You can get rid of a lot of your ships if you want to. If you're conquering the Balkans, you don't need ships. Like 10 ships is enough. 25 is way too much. And saving up on these ships is going to, yeah, you can save like 2 ducats of maintenance here, which you can invest here. Now, one of the more interesting things you maybe want to do as a state, because the estates are maybe too slow, like the nobility doesn't want to build cities, the burghers are maybe not rich enough to build cities, so you maybe want to invest and build stuff like more amenities, like more urban infrastructure. So you would go here, select the province, check out what you want to do, like you would want to build amenities, then you go to decisions and build infrastructure. And now you get a pop-up, state construction, and there you want to design a project. In this case, if we check the province, we have amenities 3 already here. We want to improve infrastructure, we want to improve amenities, and we want to build it to level 4. And then you want to prepare that, and then you'll get a pop-up that it would cost you 446 ducats to upgrade this to level 4. So that's one of the best ways of getting rid of a lot of money. But the higher the city infrastructure is, the more population can fit into the city, and the faster it will grow and attract immigrants, in fact. So now this one is only 26k, and the amenities it provides is 80k, so I wouldn't recommend building it up right now. But as soon as you have like 40, 45 or 50,000 residents, you could consider building the next level, which is going to give room for up to 200,000 people, because that would attract and increase the growth even further. However, for example, for Bari, which is at 68,000 population, you want to consider, do you want to continue growing it? Then you would definitely need to make the level 4 of amenities. If you say, okay, Bari is not important for me, it's big enough for the moment, and I just rather want to invest into smaller cities, for example, Tade here, which has a harbor, has a natural location, so it has a bonus to harbor. It only has amenities 1, so maybe I want to build amenities 2, which is a lot cheaper compared to amenities 2. And because this one only has 7k residents, and getting this one to 20 or 30k residents is of course much more efficient or faster done than growing Bari to 200,000, for example. So you want to think about what you want to do. Most times I would recommend focus on the capital first, build that up, understand how it works, push the industries there, push the province to the maximum. For example, this one still has room for a certain amount of industries. And when you max it out, all the population which is growing here is going to emigrate into your city, say like from the presence here, which is going to move into the residence, therefore growing your city even faster. And then you can invest into the urban infrastructure to grow it even faster, and then make more money in the long term. So right now, Naples is your most profitable city by far, and it probably will stay that way because capital cities do have a bonus to immigration because they are your capital. So growing them is slightly easier than growing other cities. That's why we basically have emigration, most likely from Bari to Naples. They could also go to other cities here, but probably. Yeah, and that's what you want to do to make money. And just as a recommendation, relax. You have 500 years of time. This game is slow, and you really want to take your time and just observe and see numbers grow, basically. This is a numbers game. And what you want to achieve, or what most people want to achieve, is basically to get Naples here from almost 26,000 people to like 500,000 people within 200 years. It's totally possible to do. You need investments, you need to loot countries, and you might have to make your country very attractive with the right ideas, like economic, trade ideas. Culture is also good for cities. Bureaucracy is good for overall. Logistics is also good for everything. Fortification is pretty decent. Standing army is of course very good if you want to have a state army at some point. However, as Naples, you can definitely consider to go for influence ideas first, just for the reduced diplomatic point costs and stuff like that, because you want to vassalize a lot in the Balkans, for example, get their income and maybe integrate or annex them later on. The same with the Italian city-states here, which are in the HRE, and therefore warfare is always a nightmare because you always have to fight the emperor. So just some options here. And with that, see you next time. And in fact, next episode, I think I'm going to talk a bit more about the history that you should know about this time frame to not be super surprised about what is going to happen in the game. So see you next time.